Okay.
Start there. Okay, cool. All right.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, man. Say all praises and unto Yahweh. Bashim, Yahweh Shai,
Shah, Washington Kodash.
and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Stone. Shalom to all the brothers and out there pushing the truth in our sincerity and all honesty. This is a brother from GMS Jamaica Camp, right along with the brother them from, Kingston Camp, brother Chapal, brother Zach, and Kazakh, drop out, soon coming back hopefully. Right. And we want to listen, and this whole independence thing, people celebrate out here in Jamaica, it's Saturday. And I'm celebrate our 6th year of independence, right? And over the years, we see, this thing played out more and more now, people, fast asleep, right? Deep, deep sleep too. According to the scripture say, Lord, pour upon them the spirit of slumber, right? Because these men or people basically believe that somehow love them so much, been lying to them for years, span of years, these men been lying to us. Every year, the people celebrate this independence. Now we're still a slave to these men, right? Scripture say in Romans, you can bring to a brother, matter of fact, we start out with that scripture. Romans 13 and 11, right? Open the Bible too.
So Romans 13 and 11.
Yeah, can.
All right, it is Romans 13, verse 11. And
Go on.
that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
Go on. Because the say it's high time to awake out of sleep, because now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. We actually know the time when we're finally going to get delivered. Right? We're finally going to be free from these men. Right? These wicked rulers of our household. Which basically is the so-called white man starting from the elites and down. Finally going to get delivered. Right by who? Our Lord and Savior, Yahushua. Right? That time period we live in right now. Right? One? Finish?
It says, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us
One?
therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us
One?
put on the armor of light. Let us
One?
walk honestly, as in the day, not in rioting and drunkenness, not in chambering and wantonness, not in strife and envying, but put ye on the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and
One?
make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lust thereof.
One? Right. You can go on, Chapel.
Con. So there's an article from the Guardian.
You can share screen up? You can try sharing.
My screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The option supposed
Well,
to there.
well, I think I have the article on my phone. So,
Oh,
Okay.
you want me to share the screen?
all right, cool. Yeah, you get that? You have the article?
Yeah,
Yep.
man. Yeah.
The request the other one to share the screen up.
Okay. Beauty.
All good?
Yeah, man. Come.
The Gleaner one you want to start off with first, right?
Yeah, come.
Alright, so this is an article from the Gleaner, dated February 21, 2018. It says deceptive and immoral slavery payments continued until 2015. British Treasury admits.
Come.
Hey, I know a funny thing as read this, what came to mind is that from a workplace, then they do like one little trivia, couple trivia question, thing they call it Kahoot, you know. Ask some questions on Jamaica, and there was this multiple choice, and they said what type of leadership is Jamaica? Them have like democracy, what you call it now? Dictatorship, monarchy, and one other one is me and everybody put democracy, and in fact we get it wrong because it's monarchy ruled
Come.
by who? The Queen.
Come.
All right. So reading the article, it says chairman of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, Reparations Commission, Professor Sir Hilary Beckless, has
Because
taken sharp aim at the British government over what he said has been their hypocritical stance against the movement for reparation for slavery. Though the former colonizers continued to pay out millions of pounds to settle a massive slave loan up to 3 years ago, on February 9th, it had been revealed by Her Majesty's Treasury that a 20 million loan used to compensate slave owners at the abolition of slavery in 1833 was being paid back up to 2015.
Done. Exactly. So right to up to 2015, you have British Finnish PR, the families, of the farmers, owners, make right during them time they have a lot of things that take place out in Jamaica because they have I think David Cameron they come to Jamaica, right, and people ask reparation, right, so the compensate basically what happened to four parents, right, and basically in the article, the brother are going in the article and show you, how these men, how people feel somehow have a change of heart because a lot of people know them basically, forgot about what happened to four parents, right? Them said that a long time, at the end of the past. But these men, how people think they have a change of heart, it's just it's the same devil all over again, right? All thing now in this time we're living in, them basically I use them deception against our people, right? Because scripture tell you how them do them thing, right? The characteristic of these men how them do them thing, right? In Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10. So them go say them go crouching, right? And humble themselves of the poor in the scripture. So them they pretend like them innocent, right? Or them are your friend. Notice Esau, you don't want to rule, he always have a smile upon him. So people feel somehow these men have a change of heart, not knowing that these men, right, is the same um um people are the descendants of the same people back here in the reincarnation to bring our four parents to hardcore slavery and still have that hatred for us. That's the same as what happened back then during the time of slavery, right? My brother, I
All
don't
right,
know.
continue the article.
Bring out the scripture. See that bring out the scripture.
For me?
Like,
Oh, you can see me. It says, where is it? Zechariah 5 verse 11 says, whose
gone,
possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and
gone. Says
they
gone. Scripture say, whose possessors slay them, right, and hold themselves not guilty, right? So our parents get brought into bondage by slave masters, which is basically who the so-called white man today, right? And them are the one who have benefit, after what happened to four parents during the time of slavery. As the brother the article, them basically have just a finished PR, families of the farmer slave owners with the out here in Jamaica. So they might benefit of what happened to four parents, right? What happened to four parents, give them all the riches that they have right now, right? Because it pass on to them, right? We still not the slum. We still basically been suffering, going through all these things, from the time until now, under the rulership of these men, right? So the scripture says, whose possessors slay them, right? You can continue.
Zechariah 11 verse 5, whose possessors slay them and hold
One,
themselves not guilty,
look at
and
himself.
they that
One,
and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not.
done. So one shepherd pity us not, right? Our leaders, they don't pity yourself, right? It's all about basically push, the so-called white man agenda to the teeth, right? Especially, our current prime minister, Andrew Less, a part of the Privy Council, England, advisor to the Queen, right? So our leaders don't care about us, right? And as I quote the scripture, as I bring out the scripture earlier in Romans, 13 and verse 11, it's high time to awake out of sleep because these men, who people look to for some form of, acceptance right? I look for reparation. These men don't care about us,
Scripture.
right?
Scriptures about.
Go on.
This is Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. It says, And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I speak unto thee.
Go on.
So thou shalt see it no more again, and there thou shalt be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Go on. So that's what happened to four parents, right? Going back during the time of slavery, right? We get four parents get brought on cargo slave ships, you know, packed like sardine come over this side of the world, right? So she say they could become sold unto the enemies, right? That's what basically so-called white man did back then. Sell out four parents and action blacks, split up the family,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the key part said, no man shall buy you,
Gone.
right?
Gone.
No, they're gonna redeem us,
Mm-hmm.
right? Nobody or you ever take it out of the take you out of the situation or the lifestyle that you're in right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? All the past so-called heroes, what people look up to, right? Marcus Garvey, you know, I
Mm-hmm.
mean one, you know, out in Jamaica, a hero, so-called hero, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, right? You name them, none of them
Gone.
could have basically free yourself, right?
Gone. Go ahead.
Go on. So that's it, brother.
No, I have a follow-up scripture on it. Lamentation 4, verse 17 says, As for us, our eyes as yet failed for vain help. In
Go
our
on.
watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
None of them can save us. None of our heroes then could even save us neither. Right? So
Gone.
might not save us. Right? Years upon top of years, you know, people been asking for reparation. You know, for these men. You know, coming Saturday, them say I celebrate 60 years of independence, 60 years of lie, 60 years of lies that been telling to our people, generation to generation. Lies. Right? One brother.
Wait on, let me get one quick one.
Yeah, go on.
It's a Baruch chapter uh 3 and verse
Aye.
8 says,
Go on.
Behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, where thou hast scattered us
Go
for
on.
reproach and a curse, and to be subject to payments, according to all the iniquities of our fathers, which
Go on.
departed from the Lord our power.
Exactly. So we're still in the land of our captivity, even until this very day, as scripture said, we are yet still in our captivity. We're still, you know, under the rulership of Esau Edom, which is so-called white man. Sub payments. We have all different bills to pay, you know, in the society, right? The majority of money we earn in the society have to go towards our bills, right? So we're still in a slavery. I know the worst thing too, you know, in this time we're living in, right? Majority of people don't even know that them still is a slave, right? They're a slave to the so-called white man system. They actually think them free, you know. That's the reason why you have people that celebrate 60 years of independence out here. But then, at least back then, you know, four parents they actually know so them a slave and they want to be free with them though. Them try flee from the plantation, right? And slave patrols catch them and bring them back. Right, but at least they're not trying to be free. But now people are slave and then don't even know. Right, so they're not trying to be free. Right? But through the spirit and power of washing and shy, that's what they basically want you. People say in St. John, Yahushua speak about say he shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Right? So we understand and we know that you know we still a slave, you know, physically right now to Esau Edom. Right? But spiritually we are free, we basically free. Right? Yahweh Hashem and Shai, you know, give us that, you know, that spirit. So we now basically look for the handout, the reparation, like we, you know, regular so-called Jamaicans, which are remaining from the tribe of Benjamin and seek for, right? Some form of payment. And you know, a funny thing too, you know, in this court system, Esau court system, right? If you do certain crime or certain things, you can't just, you know, say, all right, I pay some money and I call you a deal. No, they must say you do the crime, you have to do the time. But you know, people don't want to give Esau a ease up, just pay some money and forgot about that. Right? But we have an eternal judge, right? We have an eternal judge in heaven. Scripture say, um, in Psalm 70, 75 and 6. It's a promotion coming neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, right? But Yahweh is a judge, right? He put it down one and set up another. You have an eternal judge. We're gonna judge Esau, Edom, right, in the time to come, very, very soon. Because nobody from time Christopher Columbus come over this side of the world, come to this time, all the things we got you as a nation, and Esau, which is so-called white man today. Up to this very day, none of them not paid what they do to us as a nation. We
Right.
actually in the time our Lord and Savior Yahushai is coming
Mm-hmm.
back, right? Basically, deliver the elect and also, punish Esau,
Come.
right?
You can bring
After
a
this,
us like it.
after this coming destruction, 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, Esau,
Mm-hmm.
right? My brother?
Yeah, I'll bring a short precept before I go back into the article. This
Yeah.
is Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 15. He said, that which
Done.
had been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And
Done.
Yahweh Bashim Shai require that which is past.
Done.
So a lot of the sentiments were written on all of the other nations. Even some of our people are share is that we're supposed to forget about everything. You know what I mean? But the scripture tell you, so the Lord Himself, required that which is past. You know what I mean? The scripture also tell you that Him a go try if recompense, but the Lord will return Him recompense upon Him own head. You know what I mean? So we're not in the business for repatriation or reparation or all of these things, man, because only one Redeemer can redeem us from this
Yeah.
current position where we're in. Another one will put us in. It even tell you that in the book of Baruch, um, you know, the Lord will put us in this predicament. That's the only one who can take us out.
Done. Exactly.
I have a quick one for about that point, bro. In
Mm-hmm.
regards
Done.
to reparation, this is Nahum 1 verse starter 2. It says, God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Lord is
Done.
slow to anger and great in power,
Mm-hmm.
and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord had his way in the
Mm-hmm.
whirlwind, and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet.
All right. So the scripture says the Lord will not at all acquit the wicked man. So them now go unpunished. The case now gonna get thrown out and them can't buy out because this is an eternal judge. And if one's believe in a judgment, true judgment, right? Then the scripture tell us what a man sowed, so shall he reap. You know what I mean? The scripture tell us a man that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, man. Right?
Done.
So we're not waiting on any sort of justice or judgment righteously from these men. You know what I mean? Our power is in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That's the Redeemer. That old person can buy us back or take us out of this predicament. But all what these men inflict upon us as a people, they will get it back. You know what I mean? Gruesome.
Double
Yep.
time.
Double time.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
going back to the article, it
Yeah.
says,
Done.
all right, it says, in 1833, Britain used 20 million, 40% of its national budget to buy freedom for all slaves in the in the empire. The amount of money borrowed for the Slavery Abolition Act was so large that it wasn't paid off until 2015, which
Done.
means that living British citizens helped pay to end the slave trade. A tweet from the official Treasury tweeted account detailed.
Done. Show you.
And when them basically do which when I get the word the etymology for the word emancipation, because what them actually do is they didn't really bought us freedom, as the article states, um by freedom for slaves in the empire. What them actually is they bought us. The empire bought us, right? So instead of we being owned by the regular
Slave masters.
individual slave masters,
Individual. Mm-hmm.
that's why we are now a monarch. Well, Jamaica is a monarchy, head by who? The state, the queen, right? So let's go in it real quick. All right, let me see. All right.
Emancipate. Yeah, over.
Yeah, man, I have it, man. Me just want to come here for read the whole light. All right. Let me see. It's gonna change up a bit. All right. So this are the Roman sun, but what actually took place is that if we were going to be free, what we needed was manumission. Yeah, so this is actually dealing with when a son, a wife, basically is no longer under the rulership of either the man or our husband or our father. So a part of family as so let's read it real quick. This is emancipate, a verb in saying 1620s. It says set free from control, from land, emancipatus, past participle of emancipare. Put a son, that is a son, out of paternal authority. Father authority, whatever paternal mean. Declare someone free, give up one's authority over. In Roman law, the freeing of a son or wife from the legal authority, patria potestas and portier familias, to make his or her own way in the world, from assimilated, from X out away, CX, emancipare, deliver, transfer,
Mhm.
or sell from
Chance ownership. That's how basically take place. As I go into the article, like
Mhm.
transfer, or people from the local or the private, slave master, right, to Britain, right? So Britain in charge of us, you know, because in PR of the families them, right? Finish PR of the families them, I think at 2015 as the brother going in the article. So
And
we've been
even the
trans
Rothschilds also.
yeah?
The Rothschilds, there was an article come out when them
Because,
actually finished PR of the Rothschilds.
yeah, PR of them. Because
Hmm.
them bar they get some from the Rothschild, I believe too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Slave
it was
money, yeah.
basically a play on words.
Gone.
We were what you call it now? We were set free, but from what and to what is
Hmm.
the question. That's why here it states transfer or
Gone.
sell. You know, right? We were delivered from the individual white man and transfer to or sell to who bought us from Esau, the regular white man.
And if you realize, you know, the history, you know, them go for say they were the ones who abolished slavery.
See it, here, bro? You go and state right here, so now.
Okay, cool.
These are the main points. Said not used by the Romans in the reference to freeing of slaves.
Oh, God.
So if we're literally getting independent, like literally free, it
Hmm.
will then would not have used the word emancipate.
Right.
You know?
Gone.
So he said the verb for this being man new meteor. Says the English word was adopted in the jargon of the cause of religious toleration, 17th century, then
Hmm.
anti-slavery, 1776, also used in reference to women who free themselves from conventional customs.
Hmm.
So in general, the word emancipate was never used for slaves being set free. It was basically being referred to, right? One woman, wife, or son will be basically one son. Now, no, like in ancient Israel, when they reach about 12, now you become a man, right? You
Hmm.
no longer basically on the appearance. So your Hawashai when he reach 12, him could step up from him parents and go do him own business because he's now a man,
Hmm.
right? So he no longer under basically the rulership or the authority of his parents at that
Right.
point. So there are
Yeah.
different words them use who have different meaning.
Mhm.
Emancipate basically is a transfer. Manumission or manumittere is basically when a slave get him out of freedom. But this wasn't the case of what took place. Because I will buy we where scripture says, it's preacher will say a buy is a servant to the lender.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's 22, I think. You can probably 22 there, verse 5, I think. So may have this out there. Let's see my friend.
Yeah, 22 verse 7. This Proverbs 22 verse 7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is a servant to the lender. And
Right.
what took place is that the state, ultimately we end up slavery to the elites because them actually fund the money,
John,
right?
Mhm.
All play on words to trick people, deception. Well, the
John.
article actually that they start off with,
Mm-hmm.
deceptive. It's all a trick. Because what used to take place back then, you used to burn down master plantation often
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
run away.
Yeah,
So you
man.
have
John.
to
So
calm that down.
yeah, give you the illusion of freedom. You know, once them can convince you, say you're free, then people will actually, because that's what Jake always want to do. Because even when slavery finished, them try to of Jake wanting to integrate, even Jake want to integrate into master's philosophy and master lifestyle. Afterwards, even your money basically, man, is a debt-based currency. See, so either way you take it, your slavery never stopped.
This
Basically, is
is
what I'm getting at. It never stopped from
slave.
the chains come off, from the chains come off, right, to the whole apprentice thing where it used to happen back then, right, to Jake wanting to integrate to the financial aspect of it up to today, man. You're still not safe. It was all a trap, you know what I mean? Guiding them, man. And Jake, them know Jake, they study words, you know what I mean? They look up the ones that have a little education and so, you know what I mean? Them Isa make them minds. Basically, all of those men have a so-called understanding degree and such, right? Isa have a mindset in a way where them trying to be like the so-called white man, right? So them will never stop and take a look at this. You know what I mean, all of these things, man, and try to even understand it and rebel. You know what I mean, or even edify your own people.
John.
Continuing the article.
Yeah, John.
All right, it says that amount has a present value of whopping 15 billion pound. Says the tweet was later deleted following a firestorm it had set off, with many condemning its tone and expressing their disbelief that their taxes were being used to pay back beneficiaries of slavery. It says,
Mm.
Sir Harvey vows to fight for Britain to pay for its atrocities. It says Sir Hilary Beckless, pronounce her name there right. It says chairman of the Caribbean Community CARICOM Preparations Commissions and vice chancellor of the University of the West Indies has said that the admission from the British Treasury that former colonies continued to pay for the abolition of slavery was further evidence that slavery is not of the distant past and irrelevant. This fact, he said, is contrary to position taken by British politicians such as the former Prime Minister David Cameron in his address to the Jamaican Parliament in September 2015. Cameron refused to enter in reparation talks with the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
His thesis was clear: slavery is in the past. Let's forget it. Let's move
Yeah,
on.
one. The Isa, you don't fear. Forgot about that in the past. That's the mindset of so-called white man, yo. Right? As brother go to scripture.
You are required that which is past.
Yeah, yeah, Lord, which way this past? Bring out a scripture to Isaiah 14 and verse 21. And brother continue.
All
All
right,
right.
good.
So bring it
Yeah,
out. I am bringing it out.
man. Bring it out and make him continue.
All right. So it's Isaiah 14 and verse 21.
And
All right. and it reads, it's prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers,
Can.
that they do not rise nor
Can.
possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities.
Can. Can. So
Mhm.
scripture says, prepare slaughter for his children, right? For the iniquities of their fathers, right? Because in incarnation they are their fathers, right? Back here in the reincarnation, you what if the farmer, you know, prime minister, you know, Cameron say, the time that they pass, right?
Mhm.
So it's where people get that type of, talking point at a long time.
So,
So pass. Forget about that. That's what Esau Edom been telling them, right? Forget about that.
mhm.
While them a fish appear off the families them, more, for them to them basically slave for them the own on the plantation. For sure, so these men will never ever, you know, um um accept jail, right? Or people, especially so-called, always seeking acceptance from the so-called white man. We not do that here. We when this truth, the men of the Lord, starting from the apostles and elders are no, we not seek no acceptance, from Esau either, right? We not look film with, right? The how about Shimmer Shai bring us back to the true part. We understand and we know that these men gonna basically pay, right? Regardless, what them basically want to do in the time to come, or what them applying for do, right? And to us, especially us when this truth, they still gonna pay. The scripture you already written, right? Scripture say, anything the Lord do, nothing can put to it, nothing can take away from poor faith in scripture. So it's already written that Esau gonna serve 1,000 years, a hardcore slavery. All these things they do to us as a nation, right? Double, right? The punishment gonna double on them. The order of them do to us as a nation. And there's nothing at all them can do to stop it. Or people, if you live to all people, right? You don't get to scotch free,
Mhm.
right? Of us, this is of your how about Shimmer Shine, right? Yeah, go on, brother.
Now
Continue.
continue.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, Zach.
Zach, yeah.
Oh, okay. It says his thesis was clear. Slavery
Right.
is in the past. Let's forget it. Let's move on. The people of the Caribbean should get over it, and that there is no benefit to either side or to humanity by addressing this matter in the formal sense. In other
Right.
words, the position of the British government was that they have moved on and that they have long to move on from this matter. Deceptive thesis. The research, however, has now shown the Prime Minister of Britain in making this presentation to the Parliament of Jamaica and the people of the Caribbean that his thesis was deceptive. The Reparations Commission chair charged Sir Hilary lashed Cameron, arguing that at the time of his presentation in the Parliament, he was fully aware that the Bank of England and the
Mm,
Treasury were still paying persons who still held the bonds which financed the payback, to slave owners, and the controversial issue had, in fact, not moved on.
right.
This transfer of public money to the private holders of the slave bonds make it a present-day activity. We consider this to be an immorality. We consider this to be a duplicity and public dishonesty. Sir Hilary declared, further vowing to fight for Britain to pay for the atrocities it perpetuated in the Caribbean.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
All
another
right.
one?
Now we can bring
Right?
out two scripture for.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one I'm gonna bring out is Colossians 3 and verse uh 25.
25.
Mm-hmm. So, but he that doeth wrongs shall receive for the wrongs which he hath done, and
Gone.
there is no respect of person.
Gone. So Esau gonna receive, right? Receive up to this very day, as I mentioned. The wrong unto us, even until this very day, him still are the
Mhm.
wrong unto us, as a nation, right? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indian. But the scripture says, he shall receive for the wrong which he have done. And Yahushua is coming back, basically, judge this man. Right? Scripture says we're supposed to wait till upon him until the day we rise up to the
Rise
prayer.
up to the prayer.
Right? We have to wait patiently and our Lord and Savior how shine, right? Come, remove his man from out of power. Right?
Right,
Because
right.
my brother,
So with that, I have a second precept I want to bring up behind that, and that is Baruch 4 and verse. Let me see where to start. I'll just get to the point. Verse 18. It says, "For he that bought," all right, just to give context to the scripture. All right. Let me see where I can start. All right, verse 6, Baruch 4, verse 6, just to get the points out. So, "For ye were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but because ye moved the Hawabashi Mehahushai to wrath, ye were delivered unto the enemies." Right? "For ye provoke him that made you, and sacrifice unto devils, and not to your God." All right? Um, verse 14, jump to verse 18. All right, this is the point. It says, "For he that brought these plagues upon you
done.
will deliver you from the hands of your enemies." So you make it plain that the reason why you were sold to these nations and the reason why we're facing the things that we are facing now is because we transgress the laws and statutes. We sacrifice unto devils, because of the thing that is good according to the scriptures, right? All Israel have transgressed, even by the party. So none of us are not exempt from all of these curses, man. However, it also tells you that the one for he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies. So the only person, I just said before, that can actually deliver you from the hands of your enemies, man, is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the one that put you in this predicament from the beginning.
Right, God. Ultimately all these things happen, right, and to us, we basically, fulfill prophecy because we predestined by the Father to take
Mm-hmm.
place. Right. But finally, in that time now when we're finally gonna get, that deliver from all this madness, right, and finally put back in our rightful place, which have basically, rule all nation. We get blessed, we're gonna receive the blessings, and this side we receive all the curses. We're gonna receive the blessings. Right, and part of the blessings for rule all nation. I got rule over them, I'll be above all these nations, especially, the Edom white people. Right? I mean with that scripture, brother. I'll bring out that one. I mean, all right, this is Ecclesiasticus 41, and bring out verse 70. The children will complain of an ungodly father because they shall be reproached for his sake, like David Cameron, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the article, right? He
Then,
must a long time, so much time in the past,
mm-hmm.
right? When he basically pay off money with them own, right?
Yeah, and a lot of them have a sentiment to say, well, it wasn't us, it was our forefathers,
Man,
and it was our fathers basically, it was a generation past. Yeah, don't forget the conversation, but you remember the Rasta, we did a video on this, like this Rasta woman where she have locks, I want to say Rasta, where say, she don't want to have nothing to do with slavery, she don't want, she have white friends. You remember we do a lesson on that like a couple of years ago?
top member, yeah. And she have, I think she
Yeah,
have you call it Halloween party. I think remember
yeah.
I thought, man, I remember she,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
man,
Yeah, what she basically says is that, look, forget about
yeah,
slavery, and she don't have nothing to do with that, and she
yeah.
had have a camera and I show her white friends, and I say, oh, this child.
Sell out.
Yeah.
And in hand with the serpent, man. Even the serpent all over again.
Hmm.
Right?
None new.
Well, yeah, how Shai is coming back to put an end to it, yo. Right?
All right. All right. If it was up to Jake, trust me.
Oh, God.
I have
Scripture,
that
brother.
article when you're ready, bro.
Yeah, man, I can't get into it. I was bring out too much scripture and close out. I can? Yeah.
When I play a video, I think it'll work.
Oh man, I'm playing with us. Let it the article.
All right, so this is an article from theguardian.com. It says Jamaica should move on from painful legacy of slavery, says Cameron. British
Mm.
Prime Minister Duck's official calls for UK to apologize for its role in the slave trade or pay reparations. David Cameron has called for Jamaica and the UK to move on from the deep wounds caused by slavery, but Duck official calls for Britain to apologize for its role or pay reparations. Speaking to the Caribbean country's parliament, the Prime Minister struck a defiant note as he spoke of his pride that Britain had played a part in abolishing the abhorrent trade without highlighting its historic involvement in the transfer of slaves from the West Africa and ownership of slaves in the Caribbean. He called for two countries to move on from this painful legacy and continue to build for the future. And if funny, reading this is just so simple. It's like
Yeah,
me thief your goods, you see me? And
yeah,
then
yeah,
you know nothing now. And then
yeah.
say, yeah, brother, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Let's move on while me have your goods.
Yeah, where I
Mhm.
live up. Yeah,
Some
so
bullshit.
right. Now skip the shop on.
No, no, not yet.
Go to Isaiah 1 and 5.
All right, Isaiah. Okay, so this is Isaiah 1. Gone. Isaiah 1, verse 5.
Done,
And it reads, it's a, why should ye be stricken anymore?
done,
Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole art faint. From the sole of the foot even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and petrifying sores that have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mortified with ointment.
done.
Right?
So all the way, happen as brother going to the article, painful thing, happened to four parents, generation of trauma and all these things, right? Even until this very day, still affect us,
Mhm.
right? Our people, as people say, our people are bold more and more. People continue to be rebellious and so forth. These hidden nation, them know that when we rise to our power, them can do nothing against us, right? They know that.
Mhm.
Majority of people might not know. Majority of people don't know, just very few understand and know that, right? But these hidden nation actually know the top, leaders for these hidden nation know that once we rise to our power, them can do nothing against us,
Gone.
right? But people continue to rebel against Yahweh Hashem Shai. Super say for the crown on them head of our nation, leaders, right? To the sole of the foot, no soreness, but
Mhm.
bruises and petrifying sores, right?
Have a
Remember?
quick one, Unc.
Yeah.
It's like an answer to Cameron. It says Exodus 21 verse 16, and he that stealeth a man and selleth
Done?
him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
That is correct.
Done. Exactly. Straight to the point. I was
Mhm.
still at it, even until this very day. So
Still
called
in
why?
this.
The scripture said to we are yet this in our captivity, the Lord has scattered us. Right?
Mhm.
So Yahweh is coming back, comes to Esau, Edom, you know, have us in possession. Right? Don't want to let us go. Just like Pharaoh going back to Egypt, Egypt don't want to let us go. Well, Esau, Edom don't want to let us go. And Yahweh is coming back, from Simeon with us to the us and basically and gonna get punished.
Mhm.
Right? Right?
That was that one we have for the precept. Then article basically the second one. We're
Yeah.
kind of going to see same thing still read earlier.
All right. We're going to a couple more scripture and we can close off. Right.
And they have this earlier when I speak on who people still lean to Esau. Oh, get you back. Me lose it. Sorry. What?
Okay, I'm bringing out one in the meantime.
One.
All right, so this is Zephaniah 3 and verse 19. So behold, at that time I will undo all that afflicted thee, and I will
Man,
save her that halted, and I will
man,
gather her that was driven out, and I will get them praise and fame in every land that they were put to shame.
which
Right?
nobody's
Mhm.
right. Exactly.
Right. Verse 20. At that time I will bring again, even in that time that I will gather you, right? For I will make you a name and praise among all people of the earth, where when I will turn back your captivity before their eyes, say the Lord.
Right,
Mhm.
right. Exactly. Mainly over this Western world, we scatter according to the curse. We scatter through the folk on the earth, but over this Western world, we really put to shame, right? The
Yep.
things that we go through in the society, even what Esau even do to, for parents, right? The whole buck breaking thing and all
Hmm.
these things put us to shame. But Scripture said,
Even
it's about give us fame, right?
Fame. All right.
So basically put to shame. So all these things we go through over the years, for them time they're coming up, right? How about Shimei Shai gonna basically, fix the problem that we have as a nation, right? So Esau I'm gonna basically pay for all these things. They're not get it, regardless of what them really think or how them feel,
and it will
right?
not be by reparation now and on. And keep
Mhm.
it fiat currency.
Yeah,
Exactly. What you can't, there's nothing Esau can give, you know what I mean, except him life and that which, you know what I mean, slavery. You know what I mean? That basically that. And you know the fact that by himself, him now can do that. I will not do that.
Too
You know what I
proud.
mean? Exactly. So we are gonna need Yahweh Shai, man, to return, to give us, him to be slave, man, and his life in our hands, because that's what the scripture requires, right?
right.
Because the scripture speak about a man will build a city with blood. You know what I mean, and the scripture even tell it in I believe in Numbers, that blood is required.
Yep.
Land cannot be
Let me get
cleansed.
that. Yeah,
Pull
yeah.
back,
Let me get that scripture.
I don't know that in that shed it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as our brother mentioned about that, Esau Edom, him basically been doing all these things over the years, and in feast somehow the Lord is with them, as the scripture saying Psalms 50 and 16 and done.
Mm-hmm.
All the them do to the Lord, chosen people
Mm-hmm.
over the years, but nothing at all. I'm telling you, the Lord is with them,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not knowing that the how Bashim Shai is getting ready right now. All the things we say happening right one back of the other is
Mm-hmm.
it how Bashim Shai is getting ready to judge the society, right?
Correct.
And put Edom in hardcore slavery,
Mm-hmm.
right? Actually living in time. You see how things happening so fast? Because scripture said the Lord have shorter, right? For the elect sake. Say la short the days for the elect sake, right?
Gone.
Remember
All
scripture?
right. So this is Numbers 35 and verse 33. It says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye
Right,
are, for blood it defileth the land, and the
right,
land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it.
right.
Mm-hmm.
We
All
have
right.
one as well. This is Isaiah 10, verse 20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. In truth, the remnant shall return, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty power.
Gone.
Right. It's
That's
all
right.
about the elect. Only the elect gonna turn, from the wicked way of life and turn back to the heavenly Father, right?
And
Because I was spirit.
so, okay. When you look up the word stiak, it go back to like a support.
God,
Like Jacob look for your reparation now for like make things equal.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna speak about the remnant. I will basically when you look see Hebrew here, we have Hebrew it say shy Shiwa, pronounce that correct. It says to lean on, trust in, support, to lean upon, support oneself, of trust in God them of, in Mosiah
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh Shem Shai. So our
All right.
hope yo, our payback is all in Yahweh Shem Shai. Because when you look on you, there's nothing Esau can give.
Mhm.
for all of the atrocities. You must break down, look upon the mentality of a people. Look upon the
Yeah.
nigger bitch. You know, you can't pay, there's nothing you can do for pay back for that.
Mhm.
You see, you just have, you might have your 1 year of slavery, but that's not like adequate payback, if you will. You know, because damage already been done.
Irreparable damage.
Mm-hmm.
We can bring out the finish out.
Yeah, man, done.
All right, cool. This is Joel 3 and verse 1 was jump to get the points. This is Joel 3 verse 1 say, for behold, in those days and in that time I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, and I will
Man,
gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, right?
man.
And
See,
I
how
will
must bring back a captivity.
Mhm.
Right? Then it's about get all the nation them, right? They throw the folk on the earth, all the military them, right? From east, west, north, and south, and they will bring them down in the valley of Jehoshaphat. You can continue.
right, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they
Run,
have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
run,
And they have cast lot for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot and a girl for wine, so that they might drink. Right?
run.
Ye, yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and the coast of the Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, I will return your recompense upon your own head.
Run.
Right? It said, because ye have taken my silver and my gold and carried them into your temples, my godly pleasant things. Right. It said, the children of Judah also and of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their borders.
And look how
Right.
far we are come, right? From way over the east,
Mm-hmm.
right? And over the west. Right? Shalom, brother. Shalom. Shalom. Yeah,
Shalom.
wash my
Wash
car,
me, wash,
right?
right. All right. It said, behold, verse 6, again, Joel 3, verse 6. The children also of Judah, right, and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their borders. Behold,
Run.
I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and I will return your recompense upon your own head. I
Run.
will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, right, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it.
Run. Right?
Right? So the Lord are going to turn the tables, man. You know, you're going into slavery. You know what I mean? And after slavery, you will be your purpose is already served. You know, so you'll be excused. You know,
What over the
from
earth
there
come, right?
completely.
Exactly. We got Baruch. Bring out Baruch for me, Baruch
Baruch
4 and
4, 24. Yeah. All right, so this is Baruch 4 and verse 24. All right, and it reads, it's like as noted, the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from
and so
our
them
power.
these nations see our downfall, right? They even benefit of our downfall, right? You
Right.
notice, you know, the so-called Chinese them come, right, and then stop shop amongst,
Mm-hmm.
the tribes, make a lot of money. Likewise, the Elamites, right? And them make a lot of money off of us. So them see our
Right.
downfall. Right? But the
This,
scripture tell us here. So them see our downfall and them also go so what? Them also see our deliverance. Right? We actually living in that. That's the whole the good part about it. Yo. We actually live at the time when we finally going to get delivered. As scripture I read earlier and says our salvation is nearer than when we believe.
mm-hmm.
Right? Well,
Yeah, it's give us the better is the end of a thing than the
The
beginning
beginning.
thereof. You see,
well,
and they
Right.
also say rejoice, daughter Edom, you know.
Mm-hmm. Got a
He
cup.
say cup shall transfer to I feel your time.
And guess what? You know the funny thing about that scripture that I can bring out? The scripture says, "You shall surely drink
Yeah,
of it." So
yeah,
no
nah
matter
get
what,
away.
exactly. No matter what you want to say.
Jeremiah 49 and 12. When I finish, I can bring it out. I just get it right now.
All right, all right. So let's finish this.
Yeah.
All right. So it said, back in Baruch 4 verse 24, it said, "Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall
Yeah.
they shortly see your salvation from our power, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. My
Gone.
children, suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from
Gone.
Yahweh Bashim Shai.
So Yahweh Shai is supposed to suffer patiently. Right? And the word patient means to what? To suffer. So we're supposed to suffer all the things we come, we're being in this truth. Right? In Malachi, I think Malachi 7 and verse 9, say, I will bear the indignation of the Lord because I have sinned against him until
Mhm.
he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. Right? Yahweh bring me forth to the light. And Yahweh shall bring us to the light here. Right? The scripture tells us that this the word is a lamp and a light unto thy path. Right? You continue.
Right. Suffer patiently the wrath that is come upon you from Yahweh Bashim Shai, for thy enemy hath persecuted thee, but
Done.
shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and thou shalt tread upon his neck.
Destruction. Very, very soon you're going to see the destruction of the society. Right? And I think one of our first thing very, very soon. Right? Continue, brother.
That's the point still. But surely thou shalt see his destruction and shall tread upon his neck.
Gone.
May I have the
Mhm.
Jeremiah will request?
Yeah, gone.
Jeremiah 49, verse 12. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shai, behold, those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup of assuredly drunken, and
Gone. We
are
drink up that
those.
cup. We drink up that cup, yo. Right? The so-called niggers, Latinos, Native American, Indian, we drink up that cup. Right? We go through, all the curses, written in Deuteronomy 28 from the 15th verse right down to the 68th verse. Before all four parents go through hardcore slavery, right? All brutal torture and all these things, Esau, Edom do unto us. Destroy the mind of our people completely. Generation, on top of generation of traumas that we suffer as a nation, right? Some scripture say, the cup where we drink up. Go on, brother.
It says, and it says, those whose judgment was not to drink of the cup of assuredly drunken, and
Go on.
art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished?
Go on.
Thou shalt not go unpunished, but
So you now
thou
go
shalt
unpunished.
surely drink.
Go on. So you now go unpunished. You're going to drink of it, right? Double time. Go on.
It says, but thou shalt surely drink of it.
Go on.
For I have sworn by myself, said the Lord, that Bozrah shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wasteness.
Go on.
Mhm.
Exactly. And the modern day Buzzer is America, right? According to this prophecy, America is going to become 100% desert. Super say what the wild beasts of the highlands shall dwell there. Right. So nobody now gonna live back in America, after this coming nuclear destruction is preparing to take place, right now. Right. See things heating up right now. Are very close, to that time, of this destruction of the society. Right. More scripture, brother. All right,
And
let's
the
close
don't me
off.
there still.
Go on.
No man said that me there.
Okay, all right. So that may I say all praises and honor to Yahweh Hashem and Shai Hashem Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Stone. Shalom to all the brothers out there pushing the truth in our sincerity and all honesty. As content pushes truth, pretty soon we're going to leave this society, right? Very, very soon, right? Finally can, live. Because we now live right now, they exist, as Apostle Gabal always, mentioned. We exist right now. So in the kingdom to come, that's when we're going to basically truly live here, right? So that, shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.